In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, we welcome a new member to the Business Watch team. Keith Sessions is a U.S. Bank Vice President and Senior Portfolio Manager. He'll be joining us a couple times a month with insight on the market and investing advice. Keith is with Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith in the studio. Keith and Jamie.
Welcome, Keith.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you on the show. Let's start off by telling the audience a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So to start with, I'm not a Cincinnati native, but I have been here since 1997. I grew up in Georgia, went to school at Clemson University and graduated there in 1990 and started in the financial industry straight out of that. The first part of my career, I worked on the brokerage side. I worked with individual investors. During that time, I learned a lot about what it took to be a successful investor. Then in 2007, I transferred over to the managed money side with U.S. Bank. And at U.S. Bank, I manage money for individuals, families, foundations, both here in Cincinnati and all over the nation.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm not going to take it easy on you since it's your first day. We've seen a downturn in stocks recently. What's going on?
Great. So, yeah, in the past couple of weeks, we have seen the market pull back a little bit. The biggest news factor that's out there right now is tariffs and what's going on with trade policy between the United States and China. Why this is impacting the market is because with tariffs, it'll impact corporate earnings. And as we go through this, the market doesn't like unknowns, and one of the biggest unknowns and challenges is that we don't know how long this will last. You know, can the trade policy come to an agreement within a few days? Probably not.
So it's not looking like it.
Yeah, a few months. You know, we don't know how long this is going to last. The longer it stays in place, the more of an impact it's going to have on earnings.
What does that mean to investors?
You know, it depends on what your goals are. So if you have investments and they're in equities and your time frame is, say, 10, 15 years, well, the impact on what's going on right now probably is not as much as, let's say, if you've been saving for college for one of your children and they're going off to the university in August and it's 100% in stocks. Well, chances are you're taking way more risk than you should. You should reevaluate that, maybe work with your financial advisor to come up with a solution.
Okay. What are you going to be looking for over the next few weeks to watch this?
Yeah, as we go into the summer, there's going to be a lot that we look at. Obviously, what's going on with trade policy is a big factor in there, as it does impact earnings. And when you look at long-term what happens inside the market, the two biggest things that are in there is how much do companies make and what are people willing to pay for those earnings. So as tariffs have an impact on what companies can make, the other side of that would be, you know, what are people willing to pay for that? Interest rates will be something that we'll watch. Okay. The Fed has already said that they're going to keep interest rates fairly stable right now, although there's always speculation. Will they increase? Will they decrease? They're looking at inflationary factors. They're looking at the economy as a whole. And so we'll watch that to see what happens on that side of the equation, what people are willing to pay for those earnings.
All right. Well, I'm going to hold you to that, and we're going to have you back on here again in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about the process.
Fantastic. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Well, again, welcome to the show. We're looking excited to have you on several times throughout the year.
Sounds great.
Thanks.